If you're a music producer or music composer and you want to get your music into TV and film, this video is for you. So I'm going to share all of the secrets that I wish I would have known when I started this process, things that are going to help you streamline your process and get your stuff on TV and film faster, easier, and there's going to be a lot less hassle down the road. Now, if you're like me, you're probably watching this video and you don't have a pen and paper in your hand, right? You might be in your car. Well, if you're driving, please don't watch the video. I guess you could listen, but don't watch the video if you're driving. It's not safe. Or you might be, just somewhere where you can't write any of this stuff down. Well, the good news is I'm going to provide a guide that I'll send to you directly. It's a PDF. You can just download it, and it'll have all of these tips in there. Just write the word sync, S-Y-N-C, in the comments, and I'll send them right over. And you don't even have to do that, actually. Just look at the description. You can download it from there as well. All right, so let's hop right into it. Just to give you a bit of background on me, just so you know who I am, I'm Jason Dowdy. I've been doing this for about a year and a half now. I learned all of this working with the Sync Producer Hub, which is run by Anthony Clint Jr. We are a community of almost 400 producers and composers, and we're killing it in sync. So far, I have 66 placements now on shows like Dateline NBC, The Today Show, Top Chef VIP, just to name a few, right? So definitely found some success so far, and I just want to share all of the secrets I wish I would have known when I got started. So, first thing, make sure you sign up for a pro today. A performance rights organization. What they do is they collect your royalties for you. Now, when you're beginning, I would highly suggest that you partner with a music library, and if you want to know more about how to do that, I'll get a little bit into that later in this video. But basically, there's two halves of royalties that get paid. There's the writer's share, and then there's the publisher's share. Normally, in a normal agreement with a music library, they handled all of the publishing, working your catalog, getting it placed with music supervisors, all of that type of stuff. And they would get that half of the money, right? And then you would get all of the writer's share because you were the one that composed the music. That writer's share may be split depending on who you've worked with or if you collaborated with somebody else. But enough said, you can't collect those royalties unless you sign up with a performing rights organization. So in the United States, that's ASCAP, that's BMI, and that's CSAC. CSAC is by invitation only. ASCAP, I think, is $50 to join, and BMI is free. So join there. Or if you're in Canada like I am, sign up for SOCAN. That's free as well. SOCAN. If you're wondering what it is, just SOCAN.com and you can find it there. All right, that's the essential first step. So do that before you do anything. Now I'm going to go over a few things, what not to do. So do not use sample packs. Don't use splice. Don't use any samples, especially if it's from a well-known recording. There's a couple of reasons not to. You get into some murkiness when it comes to who owns the music, right? And no music supervisor and no music library wants to deal with any of that. Make sure you submit 100% original music. And if you use one sample pack, let's say it's a particular guitar sample, for example, and another composer uses that same guitar sample, and they're both used in different shows, and maybe Content ID reads it as the same song, it can just get murky, like who actually owns this piece of music. So 100% original. Collaborate with a guitar player instead of using a sample pack. I would, if that was the use case, I would say do that. Okay, and also if you're a beat maker and you have a store like with BeatStar, Airbit, and you have non-exclusive beats that you lease out, don't submit that for TV and film opportunities. Create original music just for TV and film. That way, especially if you had an artist who leased your beats and maybe they have a well-known version of that song, and then there's something placed in a network television show, and then they're trying to claim that they actually own that music, and it can be a mess. Don't do it. Just, leave your beat store music in your beat store, and then just go ahead and make new music for your TV and film opportunities or video games or however you want it synced. Be careful. So you want to strike a balance. So when you get into TV and film and you're submitting to music libraries, you don't want to over follow up and you don't want to under follow up. I know that sounds confusing, but you really have to find a good balance. When you submit that first email, I would say there's two schools on this. Some say you should send music, some say you should not send music in that initial email. I think more and more it's send music. You might as well send a link to your music, right? Just in case they want to click in here. It could be a waste of time for them to go back and forth if you're not submitting music. And then I would say, they're probably, a lot of the time they're going to ghost you. They're not going to respond at all. If you're going to follow up with them, I would say give it at least a month or two, probably 2 months. And when you do respond, reply to that same thread, but send them new music, new things that you've been looking for, and make sure that the music that you're sending aligns with the type of music that they get placed, right? Do your research. Make sure that you can help them solve a problem or fill a need, right? Okay. And also, another big one is don't keep music to yourself. And I know it can be a little scary, especially if you feel like it's not quite up to par. You feel like the mix is off. You're not sure about the arrangement, all of that, right? I'm part of a community called the Sync Producer Hub. It's run by Anthony Clint Jr. And we're 300 to 400 sync producers who are killing it right now in sync. And we have a section in our group called music reviews, right? We send our music, we get it reviewed by peers, and they give us some advice like, hey, maybe you should do this type of ending, or think about bringing this instrument in, or reevaluate this part of your track, right? Don't keep your music to yourself. Get it out there. Whether you're sending it to a music library or you're just sending it to family members or other producers, get some feedback and get better. But don't keep it to yourself. Don't be scared to share your music. Get it out there. All right. Now I'm going to say this section is all about researching with purpose. You want to align your sound with what is actually getting placed. I use a tool called Sync Match, which actually you can upload one of your tracks. It will find other tracks that are like yours, put keywords to it, let you know what metadata to use. We'll get into metadata later, but it will actually show you which music libraries are out there that are getting that type of music placed. So you'd want to prioritize those when you're reaching out. You can use sites like TuneFind to listen to other music that's out there right now, whether it's artist music or just instrumental _ music, whatever it is. You can use that. You can use the APM Music Library. And Warner Chappell has one as well. There's several out there. Use an actual music library like catalog. Listen to those and see, number one, is my music at high enough quality or better? And number two, what kind of music is actually out there getting placed? So the more intentional you are with the music you create, the more success you're going to have in the world of TV and film. All right. Next point, format your playlist. So you want to create a playlist. So after you've done your research, you've figured out exactly what types of genre you want to make, what types of cues, like they call them cues, little musical cues, right? In TV shows, the type of cues that you want to make, who you want to send it to, what types of shows they would be perfect for, right? Now you want to create a playlist that you are going to pitch to music libraries. Normally that's 3 to 5 tracks. You want to make sure that you are sharing using a streaming link. Most people in the industry, especially most people in the Sync Producer Hub and others, we use a tool called Disco. That's at disco.ac. Not only will it help you add the metadata, it helps you organize things, it provides a professional link that music libraries and music supervisors are used to. But if I think it's $10 a month. If you're like, what, I'm just not willing to spend that yet, or I can't afford to do that yet, you can use like SoundCloud, just make an unlisted playlist, right? You can use a website and embed it in there. You can use a Google Drive, Dropbox, all of those types of things. As long as you're not actually attaching an MP3 or a WAV file or something like that, because most of the firewalls out there and the email filters will either filter that out or it'll send a warning or something like that, right? People really just don't send attachments because of safety concerns. So share a streaming link when you do share your playlist. All right, let's talk about metadata. Why is metadata important? Well, first, what is metadata? You may not know that. Metadata is all of the information that you actually embed into the file, like an MP3 or a WAV or AIFF or whatever type of file it is. You can actually embed data into that file, and you can see it under the Properties tab if you're like on a Windows machine. The reason you want to add that data, especially when you're uploading it to a music library like a catalog, is that's how music supervisors search for music. You want to put metadata in there that accurately describes what type of scene your music is perfect for, what type of emotion it evokes, what type of instruments you're using. You want to put your composer information in there, contact info, genre, the BPM, the key, the mood, all of those types of things. You want that embedded in your track, so when they're searching for something in particular, they have all of that data they can choose from. And so they'll put their keywords in. It'll bring up a list of tracks that may be appropriate. You want your track on that list, right? So make sure you are doing a thorough job with metadata. All right, so let's talk about emailing music libraries. I'm going to give you some outreach tips. So number one, just keep your email short, professional, friendly, right? You don't need to write them a book. Their time is very limited. They're very busy people, so you want to keep it short and sweet, to the point. Maybe add a compliment in there. People react to compliments. People love compliments. So, if there's something cool you noticed on their site, take the time to watch one of their videos, maybe a behind the scenes video or something like that, and just say, hey, call out something that only you would see, that you would only know if you watched the video. That will show them that you took the time to do actual research on their company, to get to know them a little bit better, and that you're the type of professional that has attention to detail, and you're not just email blasting them like you are everybody else, right? So short, friendly, professional, include a compliment, and put in the subject line, get right to the point in the subject line, new composer submission, and then just put the genre and the style in there. Okay. So if you want, these are just the initial things I wish I'd known in the beginning. If you want a deep dive and you want to be part of a community where we're killing it in sync and we're talking about this type of stuff all of the time, giving each other tips, if you want access to $5,500 worth of sync licensing courses, you want weekly music leads, personalized track feedback, live reviews, production tips, supportive community, all of those types of things, at least check out the Sync Producer Hub. I have been a member since April, but I'd also taken some of Clint's courses before then. That's what got me started into Sync and where I found my success so far. Let me know if you put Sync in the chat and you get this guide. It will have a link to the Sync Producer Hub, so it'll show you more about it. If you're interested, I'd love to see you on the other side. So let me know if you pop up in there. I'd love to see you there. All right. And if you want even more help, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I talk about this sync stuff every week. I have a lot of free resources, like I teach FL Studio, so I have some courses. I have a basic course, so if you're brand new to FL Studio and you just want to learn how to use the DAW, I have a beginner's course. I also have a more high level, intermediate to advanced course where I go through the entire process of not only creating a beat, but the mix and the mastering and all of that type of stuff. I'm on a journey to leave my 9-to-5 job and do music full time. So I use a hashtag called No9to5 by 2028. If you want to follow that journey and see what happens, I'm going to share all of the processes, insights, everything that happens to me along the way, including where I've fallen flat, including where I've got behind a big obstacle and found my way around it. If you're interested in that, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. All right, so I hope this has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I try to answer all of the comments, every week. You can reach out to me directly as well. If you download the guide, it'll have my contact information as well. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you want to get your music into TV and film, start today. And the number one thing, first thing you should do today, sign up for a performing rights organization. Go ahead and do it now. If you're in the United States, you can sign up for BMI for free, and, if you don't have any money, right? And if you're in Canada, you can sign up for SOCAN. If you're somewhere else in the world, UK is PRS. Just Google, performing rights organization for your region, and I'm sure you're going to find it. All right. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.